Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to this TXS session on what's new in experience space in Tridion Sites 9.6. My name is Danielle van der Heijden and I'm a product owner for Tridion Sites. My main focus is on development of the experience space and user experience overall. I will start with an overview of the new features in experience space. One of the key features for this release is the support for taxonomies from taxonomy space. This feature will be presented in more detail during the session Future-Proof Your Content at Semantic AI and Tridion. So please watch this session if you would like to know more about this. This also includes get text suggestions and batch tagging. Here on the right, you can already see an example screen, which shows you the Suggest Tags button at the top of the screen and some suggested tags that were added after using this button. We've also added editors for managing categories and keywords in experience space. Next feature on the list, ECL editing. It's now possible to edit ECL items. You can see an example of a video here on the right. Saving of external metadata depends on whether the connector allows you to save it or not. We also provide ECL search in experience space on a mount point folder level. Search is enabled if the connector has implemented the search capability. More on the new search feature later in this presentation. Next on the list, translation support. We've implemented Send to Translation, which gives you basic support with good defaults for sending items to translation. Translation information of the selected item in the side panel, and translation of ECL items. We've added direct translation of ECL items in experience space to simplify translation of metadata of DEM assets, for example. It translates only the internal stubs metadata, not the external metadata in the external system. Let's have a look at the translation feature in the demo. Let's select a component and send it to translation. On the right, in the translation panel, you can see the current info of this item's translation source. In this case, there is no source visible because we are already in the source publication. And you can also see the current state of the translations in the other publications. Are they up to date, in progress, or out of date? Notice this item is currently out of date in these publications. You can either use the action buttons at the top after selecting an item, or you can use the context menu to select the action you would like to perform. Depending on the place in the blueprint hierarchy of this item, these options will be displayed for you. So this could be translate or translate children or both. I will translate this item in one of the child publications now. In the General tab, all publications and their languages are displayed. By default, they're all selected. The Select All option is available. In this example, it's not a very long list, but in case it is, you can use the sorting in the header to change the display order. You can select a required date for this translation, and if necessary, decide to select already translated items. I would like to translate this content into French, so I will select the French publication. Let's have a look at the Workflow tab. Based upon the selection in the General tab, the workflows are displayed. So in this case, I've only selected French. So here you will only see the French translation. If I would have selected them all, they're all visible. You can use the default workflow, which is already selected for you, or you can select a different workflow if that is available. I will now send this item to translation for French. In the translation panel, you can now see the status of this item change to in progress. You can also follow the progress by opening the translation queue in the Classic UI. You can see the job here, which is currently in translation, but that will take a while. So let's go back to the screen. As previously stated, you don't see the source in here because we're currently in the source publication. So let's check another one. So in this case, we see the translation is out of date for this item. And this is the source publication, where it's coming from. Let's see if there's an update on the status of our translation job. There it is complete. And the item is up to date here now as well. So let's have a look. Translation is up to date. And if we open the item, we can see it's nicely translated to French now. We have added a message center, which will collect all the notifications you missed during your current session. The red dot at the top here will indicate if there are new notifications that you might have missed. If you click a notification away during your session, it will not appear again in the message center. You can remove all your notifications if the list becomes too long. If you publish content, you will also receive a notification of the progress of this action, as you can see here. Next on the list is search, which I will show you in the next demo, including the possibility to export your search results to a CSV file. The search box is displayed at the top of a list. When you enter a search term, the search is executed from this location and all folders below. So in this case, your search is performed within building blocks and all the subfolders. We noticed during research, our users are not always aware of the possibility of using special characters and logical operators. So we've added a help function here, where you can look up which expressions can be used by using this link. So let's perform a few searches. You can view here the results in this list, and results can contain the search query term in the name, but it could also be in the contents of these items. When you click in the search box, your recent searches will be displayed, so you can reuse them if you want to. As said, we have also added the possibility to export this list to a CSV file. This is not only added just for the search results, but for all the other lists as well. You can export the full list or just select part of the search results by using this action button. So here you can select them all, or if you just want to export one, just select this one. If you select nothing, the full list will be exported. So let's create an export. Items are exported as displayed on your screen, including IDs, and some of the columns have been translated to make it better readable. For example, the icons. These types are displayed as icons on the screen, but here they're translated to the actual type. After searching, you can clear the search results by using the Clear Search Results button. Or just click in the tree to navigate away. Another feature that has been added in this release is bundles. In a bundle, you can collect items, for example, for a specific release or for sending them to translation. It is good to know that the items themselves don't live in the bundle, so you're adding a link to the actual item. At the right here, you can see an example of a quick creation of a bundle by just adding a name. If you use the Advanced button, you will get more options. You can add and remove items from a bundle, start a workflow, and we've also added some additional bundle properties to the information panel. Let me show you how it works in the next demo. Let's start with creating a new bundle. As previously said, you can use the Quick Create, it's this screen, by just adding a name. Or you can use the Advanced button to open the bundle editor. On the Advanced screen, you can also change the schema for this bundle. Let me use the Quick Create for now. Now we will add some content to this bundle. For this, we need to use the Add Items functionality, which will open the item selector. It is not possible to copy items from another location and paste them in here, because as previously stated, the items are not the actual items, but are links to those items. Selecting now a few items. You can also use the Remove Item option. If you would like to use the workflow for this bundle, you need to use a bundle schema with workflow. Let me quickly create a new bundle, including workflow. Let's go back to building blocks, add new bundle. In this case, I will use the Advanced button to open the editor and select a schema which has workflow. Let's add some items in here as well. As you can see now, we have this Start Workflow button available at the top. So let's start the workflow. Do you want to start a workflow for this bundle? Yes, please, I would like to do so. Start workflow. So the workflow process has started now. If I open an item now, you can see here the item is in workflow. Let me open this item. In here you will get now the possibility to start the first activity in this workflow. If you select this, you will start the first activity for all the items in this bundle. As you can see here, they're all in edit mode now. What you can also see is the log status is workflow in the information panel. That's all that I wanted to show you for today on the bundles functionality. In addition to the features that I've just introduced, we've also added some smaller features and UX improvements in Tridion Sites 9.6. So what's new? Besides the quick create for the bundle, which I've showed you already, we've also added quick create functionality for creating a folder and a structure group. For a more visual representation of items, a thumbnail view is available now in the item selector, which makes it easier to scan for the image you're looking for. This is also available for ECL items. In release 9.5, all items open in the same tab by default. We've received a lot of feedback that users were missing the possibility to open an item in a new tab or window. Via the context menu, you can now open the editor in a new tab. When double-clicking on an item, it will still open in the same tab if the editor is available in Experience Space. A new side panel, View on Site, has been introduced, so you can see at a glance on which sites this item is published, and click on the links to view the page. In the example on the right, you can see this page is published to staging and live environments. When you select a component, all pages where this component is published will be displayed, and by selecting them, you can see in which environment this page is available and can be viewed. It is now possible to select multiple items, as you can see here on the right. Support for multi-select has been added everywhere. You can use the Select All button at the top to select all items or deselect all items. In case an item is not available for selection, it will not be selected. In release 9.5, the breadcrumb was already available in the Explorer. Now it has also been made available in the editors to improve the navigation. You can see it here, although it's a bit vague, but I can show you later. All batch notification messages were reviewed and updated to give more meaningful feedback. In addition, we've created a separate batch status information overview where you can see more detailed information about the status of the individual items in your batch job. You can see an example here on the right where the batch operation performed was localized and all these items were successfully localized. Previously, it was only possible to view the page metadata in Experience Space. Now it can be edited as well. Based upon user research, we've adjusted the edit flow. As you can see here on the right, we have separated the page and component editing flow. So at the top left, you can edit your page, and at the top right, you can edit your individual components. We've also implemented a few community ideas in this release. For example, in the RTF field, you can now open a linked item in read-only and edit modes. And when selecting an item, in the item selector, you can preview the item by using the context menu and open the item in a new tab. Metadata has moved from the top and is now displayed at the same level as the Content tab. In the Explorer, we are displaying internal and external metadata now. In this release, possibility was created to indicate if a folder is set to non-publishable. If a folder is set to non-publishable, the actions will not be available for use in this folder. At times, a list of items can be very long. So a remove all option has been added now at the top of the list. It will remove all instances except the last one if the field is mandatory. This feature is available in the menu to prevent users clicking by accident on the remove all button if they want to select actually the add button. Another community idea which was implemented is to render links as navigable links in the RTF fields. Links can be used now to navigate to the location in edit, but also in read-only modus. This is the last slide with UX improvements for today. I previously mentioned the multiple selects, which you can use now to localize or unlocalize multiple items in one click by using the context menu. You will receive a notification of the progress of this action and use the batch status info for more detailed information if required, as seen in one of the previous slides. We've added multiple improvements for displaying constraints. The most visible improvement is in the page tree, where you can see now if a region has constraints for the number of items. Constraints are also visible on the General tab with an improved layout. In the item selector, if constraints are applicable, the button Show Constraints is displayed. Previously, this was just a link, which was a bit hidden according to some users. The text in that button has also been adjusted. For the 9.5 release, an accessibility text was executed which delivered a VPAT, which is a voluntary product accessibility template, and is available upon request. In this release, we've implemented improvements based on the initial report, and the new VPAT will become available early next year. So this was a very long list of improvements. Let's have a closer look at some of them in the next demo. I will use a bundle which I have previously created to show some of the UX improvements now. Let's use TXS demo. So let's have a look at the thumbnail view in the item selector. I would like to add some images to this bundle. We are here in the images folder already. And as mentioned earlier, if you use the right-click context menu, you can preview the item in another tab. By switching the view at the top, you can either review the items in a list view or in the thumbnail view. Clicking on the eye at the top of the image will show you a preview. So let's add the balloons to my bundle. And there they are. Now some of the improvements that were added as ideas in the community. Let me go to Contents. Open this article's intro, which has a rich text field and a linked component. We have added now an icon in front of a linked component, so it's easier to recognize as a linked component instead of just text. This is also available in the read-only modus. The title is now also a link, so you can open the item in read-only and in edit mode. Let's edit this item and add a few links. First, I will add a component link. As you can see here, the new Show Constraints button with improved layout for showing constraints. Select this company report. Insert it. Secondly, I'll add a hyperlink. Use this website. And I would like to open that website in a new window on the website itself. As you can see now, both these inserted links are displayed as actual links, and they have some new options in here. So here you can open the component link itself, or you could open the editor in a new tab. Same for the website. You now have the option to open the link field, or you could just open the link. So this was already the last demo of my presentation about what's new in Experience Space in Tridion Sites 9.6. I hope it gave you some good insight. Thank you for joining me today.